Real Estate Rewired.
Welcome to Real Estate Rewired AI with a Heart with Gus Waite, where we talk all things AI and real estate. And today I am thrilled to be speaking with Barbara Schluraff and welcoming her to our podcast. Barbara is a dynamic broker team lead at Century 21 Ocean, where she leads the Ocean to River Properties team in Brevard County, Florida. With over a decade experience in the real estate industry, Barbara specializes in residential waterfront, luxury, and investment properties. Her impressive background includes a Bachelor of Science in Marketing from Florida State University and multiple real estate certifications. Barbara's expertise in conventional and private lending, renovating, and property management makes her a valuable resource in understanding the intricacies of the Florida market. And I'm really excited to dive in today, Barbara. How are you today?
I'm wonderful. Thank you. Great to be on here. Appreciate your time.
Absolutely. And listen, I always like to start here, Barbara. Most people don't, at 10 or 12 years old, go, hey, I want to be a real estate broker. So what was your journey from where you started through college? How did you get into this crazy space?
So my sister did some flips in the 90s and that piqued my interest. My father sold a large business he had in the 80s and got into private lending. And he's been doing that ever since. And mortgage brokers call him. And, so I think real estate's been in our blood as a family. My grandmother moved over 30 times because she always wanted to redecorate. And so, it's fun and I love it. It's exciting and can be great investment.
So tell me a little bit about when people hear private lending. What is that?
So lenders will call my father. And my dad's 83. He's still working part-time, but he has a young guy helping him, younger, he's 50, family friend, he got him into the business and he does all the legwork. But anyway, lenders will call him and they have an unconventional buyer, maybe self-employed, so they don't fit the box of conventional lending. And most of those are balloon payments, 5 to 10 years. I think 10 is the max. He does do typically only 40 to 50% loan to value now. He got burned when the market flipped in the 2000s, doing 80% loan to value. So that was a rough patch. And he got through it and weathered the storm, but he learned not to value properties at 80% loan to value.
It's interesting. I was in New York during COVID and people were shocked that the prices didn't come down that much. And the reality was, for instance, and this is why, having you as a local expert where you are, in New York, a lot of times in a co-op, you would have to have the liquid amount post-sale in cash. So if you were buying it for $5 million, you'd have to have $5 million in liquid assets in the bank to be approved. So there really was not a whole lot of pressure during that period for people to, sort of run. So it's interesting how each different market and each different challenge will behave differently. And that's why you need a local expert to take care of that.
Yeah. And, and he has a lot of clients that come back to him now and they invest most of their, income in these private mortgages. So it's been a great vehicle. Yeah.
And so give me a snapshot of where your business stands today. How many people do you have working for you? What's it look like on a day-to-day for you?
Okay, so I run a team of 6. I'm one of 6. We're all licensed. We have a full-time operations marketing manager. As one of the 6, I have a full-time assistant who's now my daughter. So we've kind of moved pieces around as seasons change in people's lives. And then, licensed agents to help sell, list, help buyers and list property, do open houses. So we work hard. We try to run lean, constantly looking at P&Ls and software pieces and ripping Band-Aids off and, trying to stay relevant in a always changing world.
Boy, always changing. Well, that's going to bridge us right to AI. So one of the things that I love, as we talked about this previously, Barbara, is you're really about, I don't want to say job titles, but designing the workflow, really understanding the tasks that need to be done, specializing in different people doing those different tasks within your organization. And it sounds like that's just the way your brain works. Would that be an accurate appraisal?
Yes, and but also a journey to get here. I ran a larger brokerage, the Century 21 Ocean for Florida, for Brevard County. We got over 80 agents. I had a partner. We weren't profitable. And
Mhm.
so and I started in sales in 2011, then the brokerage in 2014. And within the first year or two, I thought, what the heck did I do? This doesn't make sense. These splits are way too high. I have to sell to pay operational cost. It just didn't make sense. So I got into coaching, and that led me to the team model and also just really looking at systems and having really tight systems in place so everyone has support. You're not trying to juggle every ball. You have a lot of checks and balances because we all make mistakes, with detail. So detail is so important. So systems, yeah, huge.
So it's interesting, right? And this is always the challenge. Everybody's an independent contractor for the most part, right?
Right.
So there's always been this gap between, and I love this model. I mean, I learned that early on. Early in my life, I had the first Haagen-Dazs ice cream cart outside the New York Stock Exchange. And I was working 11 to 3. This was in the early 80s. I was making $400 a day in cash, no headaches. The next year, I decided to be a mogul. I got 5 carts. I was working 20 hours a day, and I was 10,000 in debt at the end of the summer.
Right, right.
And I think it's analogous with your 80 agent model. Either
Yeah, you
stay
don't know what
really
you don't
small,
know.
you don't know, right? And, like, if you're huge, it's great. If you're running a tight team like you, 6 or 7 people, but boy, that in the middle, 50, 60, 80 people where 80% of them aren't producing and taking your time and you're stressing out. So that was a challenging period for you, I'm assuming.
Very, very challenging. My health was even suffering. I wasn't sleeping well. I was very stressed. I went to a functional doctor. She did my blood work and she said, "Oh my God, your cortisol's off the chart." She said, "I can't fix your lifestyle. I can tweak some other things, but you've got to figure that out and make some changes. Life's short and we want to enjoy our work, but be healthy, contribute to the society. And if you're stressed, you're not really even serving the client well, in my opinion. You're just
Absolutely.
running on fumes, so health
So
is
and
a
so
huge
absolutely, and listen, the truth of the
healthy
matter.
mind and body.
Yes, healthy mind and body. Because the truth of the matter, listen, at the end of the day, it is about love and service. I mean, that's where one feels good at the end of the day, right? Whether it's serving your agents, serving your clients, your listing, your buyers, your sellers. So I'm curious. So you hit this wall, you realize, oh my God, this model is crazy. This doesn't work. I'm totally stressed out. I'm just doing deals to pay the rent here. I'm not. How long did you stay in that space?
It took a while. That I didn't really strip it all down until 2019. So 2016 is when I started the journey. I formed a team within the brokerage and just started taking steps. And, it was very difficult emotionally. I had a lot of friends that were agents in the brokerage that the team model wasn't going to be for them. And, that was painful for all of us. But at the end of the day, you have to when you're in survival mode, you've got to put your oxygen mask on, take care of yourself. So that's what I had to do. It was very difficult. I had some great coaching to walk me through that period. And, you have to make hard decisions in business. So that was one of them. Couldn't be, more thankful. I met great coaches since then and that continue to help me model the business now. Like you're talking AI, we we used to buy a lot of Zillow leads. I got out of that pretty early, thank
Mhm.
goodness. Got into the Google space ads and SEO work. That really took off and helped us tremendously. So now, looking at AI, where are we heading? How can we stay in front of that train or at least ride it?
Yeah, well, here's and this I love this journey for you, Barbara, because this is like we make assumptions, right? Like more, bigger, better.
Hmm.
And then never really starting going, wait a minute, how much do I actually need to earn to live abundantly? Not crazy, but abundantly, right? Roof over the head, food in the fridge, saving a couple of bucks, can take a vacation once in a while, not feeling that financial stress.
Right.
How much time do I want to put into this? Right? Like, do I really want to work 80 hours a week? And I find the space right now with AI is like, A, identify what it is that one loves about what they're doing, identify the tasks that you really don't love, right? I don't want to say hate, but just for me, it's the gut check, right? Like if I'm going to do something and I go, like, I don't really feel like doing this, can AI do that? And so, what is your process for identifying, like, where should AI work into my workflow? Like, how do you determine where that is for you and your team?
I'd say right now we're very high service. We're not a discount broker. In luxury clients, we have a lot of folks that they're not in the state, they're not in the sometimes not even in the country, and we need to line up a lot of vendors to take care of their projects to get a listing prepared for market so that I say now you can 2x your profit if you prepare it properly.
Mm,
So lining up vendors, I hear, we're going to be able to just go book on someone's calendar at some point, a handyman or a plumber. That'll be
mhm,
nice. Expedite that, but always looking at systems, with contract flow, photography, all those type of things for the marketing. I'd say marketing is a big challenge, but we try to not challenge, but it's time consuming. We're always trying to tweak our branding and make it look sharp and enticing, so that
mhm.
I'd say that's another challenge.
And so, what is your so I like to look at it in terms of, right, every job description has a series of tasks, and all those tasks create the workflow. And, the way I'm looking at it these days is there's the black, the white, and the gray, right? So black is what AI could do all the time. Text from the doctor 24 hours, hey, you got an appointment tomorrow. Can't really mess that up. Talking to the doctor, getting the blood results, I want that to always be a human. But there's that big gray area in between. So, what is your process for kind of deciding what AI can and should do? How do you research that? Third party vendors? Are you building anything yourself? Like, what's your process for sort of managing implementation?
We're using a lot of software pieces. I'd say it would be nice if we could streamline those better. Use all kinds of software, Google Docs. For Google Docs work great for
Hmm.
workflow, keeping it simple, having multiple people on the same document, just watching the timelines and who's in charge of what. But it's a nice check and balance. If we need to, I'll jump in there and find information. We're really researching and exploring this right now because it's changing so fast. We're always learning. I think
Hmm.
we're just going to keep every day, every week, learn something new that we may or may not implement. So always open, and I'm not afraid to walk away from. I like to be loyal to vendors and software platforms, but if something better is coming along and it makes more sense, got to make that move, right?
Well, yeah. And I mean, here's the interesting thing. And I think this is like a space that's a little bit unknown, Barbara, right? Like, so the big shiny whistle comes along, Fellow does predictive analytics, and okay, we'll pay them $800 a month, and they're going to go into our CRM and they're going to find. And then oftentimes I find with those third parties, they kind of do what you want, but maybe they don't do it in the way that you want, but there's no way to sort of train them, right? It's sort of plugged in. Then there's maybe you could build this and have it do 80%, and you're not paying that subscription now. And so there's like this, that's where I get into that gray area. So what's your process for deciding, hey, we're going to plug in this third party vendor, like this is an area where we could increase efficiency, make more money, save more time. Like, what's your process for deciding whether or not to use
Well,
it?
I mean, obviously, you look at cost, you see how that's going to fit, what we need to change to, remove a piece potentially. I think cost is huge. And also just trying to have a gut feeling when looking at it. Is that going to be outdated? If I go through all this pain of changing, is that going to become something that's outdated? I've tried to, like, for instance, we used an integration software to sync platforms, and it would work, and then 2 months later it would break again, and I'm supposed to pay another $3,000 to fix the broken links again, and that would just continue to happen. Well, you're just two steps backwards, it felt like. So, just trying to be careful, take time researching, like when I got open the brokerage, I learned a lot. So I can't say I regret that. But if I had slowed myself down and interviewed more brokers prior to doing that, I probably would have saved a lot of pain and suffering in that. So now I just I'm a quick decision maker, but I do try to slow myself down, analyze it a little longer before jumping into a new system or life decision, right?
Yeah.
So
Well, that is the benefit of getting a little bit older, right? It's like,
right, yeah,
well, and you did that body work, right? I mean, you did that transformation from all of that stress. And one of the things I've tried to train myself is if I have a sense of urgency within me or impatience or frustration, don't make a decision.
right.
You know what I mean? Like not coming
Yeah,
from that calm space.
yeah.
Because generally I'm being reactive to, I love the saying, if it's hysterical, it's historical, right?
Yeah, you're
Right.
right.
So if that stomach is going, oh, I got to, no, wait a minute. Let's wait a day. Let's think this
Yeah,
through.
yeah, and I just used that recently. I told someone, I said, I can't make a decision yet because I don't have a good, strong feeling one way or the other, just
Hmm.
on a big project.
Right.
It's a big renovation project. I said, I'm holding right now. I'm not saying that's forever, but uh, I need that really strong feeling now before I just jump because I've done that in the past. I can be
Yes.
impulsive. So
Right. And how are you bringing the people? So luckily, you had six people. One of them's your daughter, but it sounds like you've got a really well-oiled machine where people are liking showing up and it's not overwhelming and people are getting paid. And so there's some good orderly direction within your brokerage. That's what I'm sensing.
yeah, yeah, definitely smart people, caring, fun. We also I want to have fun. I want to laugh a lot and
Yeah.
we joke around a lot. So that's
That's
fun.
good. So what
Yes.
is the process for like sort of getting them to buy in to the process? Like the quote unquote AI process? Is there resistance? Is there fear? Like what's that process like?
I think there have been times of fear, but I don't think for the most part we've been fearful. We're just trying to help each other. And so I'm still the broker for Florida for Century 21, but I merged the company with a much, much larger, one of the largest in the country world out of Georgia. They have quite a few satellite team offices like mine. They saw the value in that. The owner, Terry Swanson's a great guy, smart, forward thinking, but similar mindset, I want to enjoy this. I want to be profitable, of course, work hard, but play hard, just and be with like-minded people. Knock on wood, I haven't really recruited the agents that are on the team. They've found me.
Hmm.
And we fit, and I don't, you know, for me, it's just we're providing enough value for them too as agents. I always want to stay relevant with that because I do care. I want their lives to be easier. This is stressful dealing with people's emotions. Residential real estate is very emotional, I think.
Hmm.
Oftentimes, it's not all numbers like commercials. So, they deal with a lot of stress and late nights, early mornings, and weekends, and, all that. So, if we can make their life easier and make the team model work, which is really more like a traditional brokerage, because the splits are lower, but we're providing more value, right? That's the
Yeah.
goal.
And it's so interesting. And I'd like your take on this, right?
Yeah.
Because what I think people are craving is human connection, like
Hmm.
genuine, authentic, vulnerable, real human
Yeah.
connection,
Yeah.
right? The ability to show up, say, hey, I'm scared today. This deal dropped and I needed that money or whatever the thing is.
Yeah.
To be able to come in and say, I'm overwhelmed by this AI stuff. Like, oh my God. Like I don't really even like, ugh, to them, it feels like one more thing to do
Right. And even
or
researching it. Yeah.
even researching it.
Yeah.
And so what I found is the organizations that are really doing it well, it's the owner has their aha moment. There's a moment where whenever it was, you went, "Oh my God, this is crazy what this stuff can do."
Right.
What was that aha moment for you where you went, "Wow, this is different?"
Oh, well, we started, I'd say, light with AI, helping write narratives. We just upload features and, hey, talk to the buyer like this. and it spits out a narrative that I couldn't write. And I think when it really blew my mind was when I uploaded uh, a PDF and asked it to rewrite it and focus on certain elements, create a graphic in the colors that I wanted and make it, and it spit a 2-page graphic out. And I said, make it 1 page. And it's like, I spent 10 minutes doing that. I was
And how long would
insane.
have
That
how
blew my
long would
mind.
have that how long would have that taken prior?
Probably a whole day for someone.
Right.
Or 2. In fact, I told our operations manager, she's great with technology and smart and, fun. But I not caught her one day, but I said, she worked on something. I said, hey, did you realize you could, she spent a whole day, her door was closed. And I said, I didn't want to say anything that afternoon, but when I realized what you were doing, because the day had already, it was gone. I said,
Right.
you could have done that in AI in minutes. And she said, oh my God, you're right. Yeah. And I said, we have to challenge each other constantly. You challenge me, I'll challenge you. What can we do in AI? What can we do? You use it for that, tweak some things. So everything. So I'm completely open to it. I love technology. I use Tesla self-driving because
Mhm.
it's amazing. My friends, well, they'll get in the car, and I use it constantly.
Right.
And I'm not doing that. I said, wait, get in the car with me. And they're like,
Right.
wow.
Well, and it's funny. So someone recently gave me this framework which I really love about new software. It's remember, forget. Like I have this chat GPT. Oh, I should do something with it. Oh, I got a phone call. See you later. Then it's succeed and fail, where I'm using it and like it does one thing, but oh, it didn't do the thing I really wanted to do. And at some point when it's the fail, I might walk away again. I'm like, it's too much for me. It's really the implementation and the mastery where, to your point, using it enough where you see the value so that inevitably when you do run into that obstacle where it doesn't quite do it the way you want, now you got to learn a little bit more and try something else. And then a new tool comes that says, hey, connect it to this, it might do it better. There's the patience and willingness to actually do that because you've already
Hmm.
seen the value in the previous iteration. Does that make
Right.
sense?
Oh, yeah, definitely. Definitely. Yeah. So, yeah,
Got it.
sometimes you have to walk away and
Oh, yeah.
digest, let your mind settle, and then, okay, we're going to go back,
So,
tackle
do you have
this.
any fears about it? Concerns about where it's going?
More concern for once in a while for myself, you just think, where is the world heading, right? Financially, and what is it going to do to the housing market that I depend on for people that will lose jobs? So this
Mhm.
evening, I will spend time with a friend of mine whose job is basically going away. She's a research analyst. She's not needed, right? That job, her company, she's been talking to them for the last year or so, and they said, you need to prepare. She prepared a resume, yada yada, and the jobs have been drying up for her company, and so I'm sure she's in a tough spot. So you know,
Well, and Barbara, I mean, I listened to a podcast called, The Artificial Intelligence Show and love this guy. They're very middle of the road. And one of the things that they talked about was, Goldman Sachs, Blackstone, bunch of these, uh, firms are in now getting into bed with all of the LLM models to basically go after the PE companies and say, hey, listen, we're going to send a team of 15 engineers into these large enterprises and we're going to figure out exactly which workflows AI can do. And because as for big enterprises, they get rid of 20% of the headcount, the stock goes through the roof because they're making more money.
yeah,
And so I think that in addition to people getting out of college, like my concern is in the next 2 or 3 years, as people who were well-educated knowledge workers start to not have opportunities, and as kids coming out of college can't get those entry-level jobs because a lot of those tasks are now being done by AI agents.
Mhm.
we're in for a rocky period.
I do, and there's gotta be a trickle down, right? And how does that affect all of us, right, in every aspect? But, I read an interesting article this week, and I haven't I don't know, I would assume that it's true. The Florida Realtors, it was an article they put out saying that Florida is currently leading the nation right now with young homebuyers working in I'm losing the term right now, but doing craft, you know AC pardon? More like AC, plumbing, they're
Oh, yes,
taking
yes, yes. Yeah, right, because
so
the trades. Right,
trades,
HVAC,
thank you.
plumbing,
Yeah,
electrical. Yes,
and
absolutely.
they're able to buy their first homes at a younger age than some in other parts of the country because they say we've been leading in the trades. I'm not sure why that is. They
Well, yeah,
say it's
and it's interesting.
education, but I haven't, you know
Yeah, and listen, what I'm also hearing is private equity is going in and buying all these legacy HVAC, that some guy's grandfather started 50 years ago because they wanna go in and increase the efficiency within it with AI systems and then
Sure.
turn around and sell it. So,
Yeah,
but here's the thing that I love about real estate.
yeah,
We are in that space between the trades and knowledge work that, and you mentioned this, emotional.
mhm,
Buying a home or selling a home is a very emotionally charged situation. It's not like buying a car or buying pickleballs, right?
right,
There's identity involved in it, there's ego involved in it, there's fear involved in it, there's family dynamics that are involved in it. So I do believe that the really emotionally intelligent broker is going to be really valuable moving forward. The question is, how do the independents really master this AI technology so that the independents are in the top 1% utilizing this? And that's
mhm,
where I really believe where we can all cooperate
mhm,
together.
mhm,
Because the beautiful thing about you're not competing with someone in Minnesota, right? And what and we'll talk about this after the show, but what I just got to is this idea of like an independent broker collective
mhm,
where independent brokers are getting together in a mastermind format twice a
mhm,
month, kind of going,
mhm,
"Hey, what's working for you? What's working for you? Why don't you test this?" And we're all going to test this new thing. And what result did Barbara get down in Florida that she can share with Gene up in Boston?
mhm.
And then like collectively do what is a lot more powerful than doing it alone.
Smart. Yeah, that's smart. And for that in that aspect, I think AI is exciting.
Yes.
It's fun and I like trying new things. I'm a risk taker. That's just keeps it exciting. But I do, as long as you're still protecting the client and leading the pack, so to speak, that's the fun part that I'm not afraid of with AI.
Well, and this is the piece that really excites me, Barbara. Did we talk about the GE?
I don't think
Okay,
so.
but you'll love this in terms of marketing. So it's generative engine optimization, pretty much what it means. And this was a great analogy. Right now, I'm having a party, my toilet breaks. I'm going on to Google, plumber near me. There's 15 ads, none of them respond. One guy picks up his phone, he can do it on Tuesday. It's really frustrating. The new model is going to be my AI agent is going to go into all of the local plumbers, find out who's the highest rated, who has the lowest rate, go on their calendar, find who has a plumber available right now, book the appointment, contact that plumber, and 30 seconds later, I'm getting a call from Ed saying, "Hey, Gus, I can be at your house in a half an hour." So, where it's going is there's a whole different criteria for how people are going to find people, and it's going to be agent to agent, right? Like you're going to have an agent on your side, they're going to have
Okay.
an agent on their side, and they're both going to be talking. Interestingly, Amazon does not want agents on their site because they want eyeballs on their site. Because they want me going, "Oh, I want pickleballs. Oh, you know what? I need some socks. Oh, let me get my mom some back cream. And oh, there's a sale." And all of a sudden, I bought 9 things instead of one. Independent real estate brokers who master that game. Think about it. Your ideal client profile, constantly, all your social media, all your reviews, all your blogs are talking to that ideal client profile. So that if someone from Boston says, "Hey, I'm thinking of moving down to, your area," and your agents specialize in people moving from the Northeast who are downsizing or upsizing or whatever it is, they're now finding you.
Cool.
Imagine the power of an agent recommending you and how that just makes life so much easier for you because you've been referred by their agent and their agent is vetting it correctly. I already trust my agent because every time I say, "Hey, find me a mom and pop restaurant near Burlington, Vermont," it's done it for me
Hmm.
because it knows me. That's where I think the independent brokers are really going to be able to compete with the big folks.
Well, I'm excited.
Yeah.
I'm all for it. I did have my first listing appointment last week with someone who said that they just all they did is ask chat, which agent should I call? My house is, XXX and who's the best in our area for that? And my name popped up. I said, wow, that was cool.
I love that.
Before it was Google reviews. Hey,
Yes.
we researched you. They took the time, but she said, your name came up first. So we called you here,
Isn't that
which,
and I'm so and that's exciting, and the other so then, as you know, Barbara, then you get into the weeds, right? Because each LLM model has a different criteria for doing that, but in my broker collective idea is like, "Okay, hey, Barbara, you're gonna master the Gemini search, and Gene, up in Boston, you're gonna master the Claude search, and this one's gonna master the GPT, and we're gonna get in there and learn all the workflows, and then share that with each other, so that
hmm,
basically, collectively, you could do what you couldn't do alone." That's
cool.
the idea behind it.
Yeah. No, that's awesome. Yeah, I don't think you can lean into just one
Yeah.
system, right?
So let me end with this. What do you love most about the area that you live in? If someone was thinking about moving down to your neck of the woods, what would you tell them?
It really is beautiful. We are surrounded by water. We have two rivers running parallel to the ocean, which really stops some of the construction just getting built out. And it's gorgeous. We have what's called the Thousand Islands, and it's just full of wildlife, all kinds of birding and fish and yada yada. But obviously, the ocean. Great for small surf, sometimes big surf in a hurricane. But then the Space Center too is exciting. Kennedy Space Center is here. So just watching the transformation of that space is fun, is a lot of fun. So the combination of the beauty and proximity to go, fly internationally, Orlando's an hour away, easy. So
Got it.
yeah.
And let's go listings first and then buyers. So give us your three top recommendations for anyone who's thinking of selling their home right now and what they should be thinking about and maybe what they hadn't considered that you'd like to bring to the table about where the market is right now.
I'd say the condo market's still it's tough, still recovering from the collapse in South Florida, and the state implemented all kinds of engineering and financial report studies. But it is healthy. Inventory is kind of settled back down. It was starting to spike, it's starting to settle back down. Single family is doing really well. I'd say just take your time, work with an agent. Obviously, we'd love for you to call us, but if not, you should be definitely taking the time to prepare your property. We put a lot of time into helping our sellers really analyze, staging, just prepping all the little things that buyers are going to notice, walking around. As I've matured as an agent, I've really learned how important that is. People don't like to walk into projects if they can help it, right?
Absolutely. And the other thing that, I always found too, Barbara, and I'm sure you recognize this, is homeowners get very attached to what they did in their home and how comfortable it is for
Mhm.
them. But buyers have just seen 12 other similar properties. And so they're comparing your home to those other 12. And if the visual of walking into one of those other ones resonates with them more, they can see themselves in it more. It doesn't, right? I think
Yeah.
buyers sometimes don't recognize how much information, I'm sorry, sellers don't recognize how much information, how well educated the buyer is because they're seeing a lot of this property right now.
Very, very. I mean, they have time now. They have all these tools online. They've done a ton of research, and a lot of times we're helping show property, but they find the one first and send it to us, and then we break it down. How's that going to be? Florida's we battle insurance premiums, so
Yeah,
breaking that property down on how is that going? How are the premiums going to look? But there's some great opportunities for buyers, and that's fun. And they have a little more time now to look, so it's taken some of the stress out. But yeah, it's a fun business. I do love that part, helping them reach their goals, right?
absolutely. And I'm sure you're always on the lookout for great agents. If someone's watched the show and they resonate with your vibe and they like what you're doing, what would you say to agents who are thinking of maybe coming on and joining your team?
We work hard, play hard. I'd say, we're just extremely respectful of each other's life differences. We're all very diverse and different, and we tease each other. If you can't, you need to be able to be teased in a loving way, but don't take ourselves too seriously. Just we work hard, but I want the agent to have a healthy life too. It's not all work. We don't
Mhm.
know, walk out and get hit by a bus.
Right.
So how did we live our lives and have we helped people? So
Well, let me ask you this. What do they tease you about, Barbara?
what
What's
do
the
they
thing
tease
that,
me?
yeah,
Let's see, a lot of things. Sometimes it'll be a technology piece and I'll say, hey, this isn't working. And they're like, we're gonna have an iPhone class or, you know, so just trying to
yeah,
keep up with technology. And I love technology, but trying to keep
right.
up with it can be a challenge for all of us. But
Fantastic.
yeah.
Well, listen, this has been wonderful. Please stay on after the show, but I want to make sure we give our viewers a chance to reach out to you. So why don't you let them know what's the best way to get in touch with you, Barbara?
Just find me online. You can put my name in and lots of information will come up. Also, oceantoriverproperties.com. I'm on Instagram, Facebook, all the places. Phone number is online. So easy to find me. Barbara at c21ocean.com.
Fantastic.
Text, call, email. We have systems in place so that I do,
The speed to
I'm not
lead.
having,
Speed
yes,
to
and I'm not
lead.
yes, I'm not answering every text and, because I can if I'm in a meeting.
Right.
The customer needs service, so someone's picking that up. That's important. So,
Fantastic.
yeah,
Well,
thank you
Barbara,
for your time.
yeah,
Wonderful.
thank you. Hang out for a minute. I just want to say this was an absolute pleasure speaking with you, and want to thank all of our viewers for watching Real Estate Rewired AI with a Heart. And remember, the only reason to use AI is to do more of what you love and less of what you don't. Thanks for watching.
Awesome. Thank you.
If you've got value from today's episode, hit subscribe, leave a comment. I'd love to know what you're thinking. If you're ready to turn what you love into your superpower and take what you hate off your plate, schedule your free AI discovery call. The link is in the description and pinned comment. I'm Gus Waite. Until next time.